Okay. Similar to the last 2 nights ago when we practiced at night, I think this format, even though we know there's issues with it and concerns about being physical and the grind of two-a-days, the positive thing about this format of having one practice a day is that they have come out and really given us a high level of energy in the practice and intensity. Injuries continue to mount even with this format. There's 14 guys, 14 scholarship players that did not practice today. So, it just makes sense to continue what we're doing and lay off the hitting and keep working the stuff mentally and keep working a lot of the passing game as well. And both quarterbacks that had a really good night. Mitch continues to play extremely well, especially in the competitive team situations. So it's great to have two guys that we feel really good about.
You got Derek moving on defense. You got Reardon on offense. How did both of those guys look tonight?
Yeah, we've moved Mike around a lot. We've played him at tackle, center, and guard, and so he can really help us there, especially with Butch being out. Butch is a guy who's played all 4 spots, and Mike's a guy who's playing all 5 spots for us. So he's very valuable to us. Derek still needs technique work out there, but still flashes at times. And we moved Christian Thomas back to defense for a while with Nick Perry's injury and depth issues over there. Tight end's probably our deepest number position of any group that we have. So
Christian,
hopefully he can help us over there.
Christian, because he's so athletic, he's so
quick, and it's why we did an experiment last week with both those guys, moving Randall and Christian over there so that if something were to happen, we'd have an answer and have an idea about him. So we thought that Christian made the most sense to move over there after looking at both of them.
What did you hear from the doctors regarding Butch?
Butch is going to, they're going to inject him and see how he responds to it, and hopefully get him back out here and just try to work through it. And Drew is going to be similar. Drew's out, has a strain with his hip, but he's going to have to take some injections to see if he can play the whole season and then get it fixed after the season.
Is Alan Bradford, does it seem like he's been fighting it a little bit out here? How do you think he's been doing?
As far as
It's just his performance.
Well, I don't really know from what fighting us as coaching or fighting.
Is he struggling? Is he excelling?
Well, he was struggling at first. So the way I'd put it is, I think that he's really taking to the coaching and he's really trying to get better and not being stubborn, thinking that just because he averaged whatever it was 5.8 a carry last year, that he has answers in his 5th year here. He needs to improve, and he's shown that. We're asking him to do some things that he has done differently in the past that we think will help him. So it's good to see, and I'm sure he feels the competition. There's a lot of competition at that spot. And especially with Mark, being the only other big guy in the group, and Mark, as I said, maybe being the surprise of all camp.
George Uko looks the part. Is he a guy you think can contribute this year?
I don't know that yet. It's very early to tell. The guys that will be the hardest to tell are the freshmen or the redshirt freshmen, guys that haven't really played in games, and we're not going to put them in a lot of game-like situations as far as tackling. Those are going to be the guys that we're going to have to take some chances on, as we go to game time, and hopefully be able to play them in a reserve role, in the second half of games to find out what they can do, as opposed to having to make them frontline guys.
Every time you see Roby, does he convince you that you got a place for him this year, Nickel?
Yeah. There's no doubt Nickel Roby's going to play for us a lot on special teams and defense. Very natural playmaker. We were fortunate to have him in camp at Tennessee and committed to us for a while, so we knew him very well. Knew that even though he is short, I think he's 5'7" and 5'8", but he jumped 7 o'clock in the morning. He jumped 40 inches and ran a 4.4, so that's pretty special. So he's very natural, could return punts and kickoffs for us, as well as play our nickel, and we're going to give him a chance to be the starting corner as a true freshman across from Shreese.
So are you going to redshirt less guys just because of the scholarship situation? Is that
It's a good question, Scott. It's going to be very hard to figure out because there's two things, one that pull you one way, one that pulls you the other. If you redshirt them, that means that you have them hopefully for 5 years, for an extra year through when the numbers are really going to get low, the fourth and fifth year here. But the other part of it is we're already low, and if we redshirt them and get a guy injured or two at certain spots, we'll have nobody to go to. So we're just going to have to. What will probably happen is there'll be some guys who will try not to play early, see if we can go through the season without getting injuries at those positions, to be able to redshirt them so we have an extra year in the heart of what I think will be the hardest years.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.